Hello and welcome to the Liz Experiment YouTube channel. I'm your host, Liz, better known as The Liz and the Liz Experiment, and this is the channel where I record field notes from my journey towards architecting my very best life. I am back again this week in Xalapa, Mexico, and I am here, well, this past week, most of what I did was celebrate Dia de los Muertos, but I also did some manifesting too, so let me tell you all about it in this episode.
Life's a foolish game. Do you ever feel the same? Well, maybe we could change. Turn the ship another way.
Okay, so let's get started. As I said, I am still here in Xalapa, spending a month here in the city. I'm learning more Spanish, I'm meeting new friends, I'm exploring a new culture, and a lot of that, as I said in the intro, was Day of the Dead, as we say in English, Dia de los Muertos in Espanol. And so that's one thing I learned about this week. I usually start my videos with what did I learn this week. I definitely learned about Dia de los Muertos. I learned the difference between a skeleton and a skeleton that was dressed up. The Catrina, very much a part of the holiday, and I saw quite a lot of them this week. And I also learned, along with all of the goings on of Day of the Dead, which I'll talk about in a second, I learned that I can manifest things. And I know we hear about that a lot, at least in my culture, we talk about it from time to time, maybe not a lot. This idea of like, you can do it, you can make it happen, and you manifest it. And I really learned a little bit more about how to do that this week. So I worked on both of those things. The first thing, well, let's start with manifesting, because I think that's actually part of Day of the Dead. So one of the things I knew when I was planning my trip to Mexico, that I was going to be here for Day of the Dead. I knew it was a huge holiday here, and I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted to learn more about what it was and why people were so into skeletons and all of those things. Of course, I also wanted to come to Mexico to practice my Spanish and to learn more Spanish. But as I realized that I don't know anybody in Xalapa before I came here, I kind of accepted that I was going to be able to practice my Spanish as I was buying things or maybe making my way around the city, but I may not be able to do it as much around understanding the holiday of Dia de los Muertos and celebrating it. So I was disappointed in that knowledge, but I also recognized I've done as much that I can, as much of the work as I can. I've come to Mexico. I've put myself out there, and I just let go of trying to make it happen by force. What am I trying to say? I let go of trying to find a way to celebrate Day of the Dead. I just kind of said, universe, I want to know more about these people and their culture and this holiday. But I recognize that I don't speak Spanish very well. And I don't want to go out alone at night because I'm in a city. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. So if you could help out, let me know. Turns out my Airbnb host helps a Mexican couple with learning English, and they became friends with me, and whammo, I had people both to practice Spanish with and learn more about Day of the Dead with. So I started to I thought, I think I may have manifested these people into my life. And then a similar thread happened when I was thinking about my work. I was thinking about work it's November, and my business partner and I have pretty much shored up work for the year. We recognize it's the end of the year. People don't usually have budgets. They're not usually hiring new teams. And we've kind of gone over our finances, and we understand we can go a few months without having client work. But I said to the universe, you know what? It would be really nice to just have one more small project just to kind of close out the year and have some extra spending cash for Christmas. And knowing all the things I just told you, which are that companies don't spend money and yada, 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 I said, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And the next day I heard from a client I hadn't heard from in 2+ years, and they wanted a 2-week project, which was just the right amount of funds and work to help to meet my goals, basically. So that's when I realized, oh wait, I am manifesting this. I kind of feel like a superhero, and I also realized it's a power we all possess, which is this ability to say, I've set my intention, I've taken that work as far as I can. Now I'm going to let go and let whatever happens happen. That's a really, really scary thing to do, especially when we're talking about work and money, and things. I have the privilege to be able to play around with it. Let me say it that way. At the same time, I think it's something we can all do in situations big and small. And I say we all. I think it's something that most people, if not all people, can do. And it's something I'm going to be exploring, doing more of, and reporting back on. So, more on that. But let's get to the real reason you're watching this video. You want to know about Dia de los Muertos. If you want to know about Dia de los Muertos, you can watch that movie Coco from Pixar, which is one of the things I did when celebrating when learning how to celebrate the holiday. Um, so otherwise, I can give you my perspective on holiday. So, okay, first of all, I was really, really nervous to celebrate because I don't speak Spanish. I'm not Mexican. I don't know the culture in and out, and I'm always kind of feel a little bit nervous to step into somebody's culture. However, having friends like the ones that I've met, I didn't need to worry about any of that. And they took me to a lot of events. We went to, on Thursday night, which was Halloween in the United States, we went to the city center and we saw so many people out and about dressed up as Catrinas, the skeletons, or putting on plays or playing music. And nobody was doing it for money or for any sort of official reason other than they were celebrating their tradition and their ancestorhood. I went over to my friend's house for dinner on Saturday, which is the official holiday. And then after dinner, we went to a local sculpture garden that was putting on different plays. And so they were all in Spanish, but my friends explained them all to me. So I learned a lot about Mexican storytelling. It's very interesting, but that's for another video. What else did we do? And then on Sunday, we went to a nearby town called Naulinco, where they're known for their displays of Catrinas and different altars, which are the altars, and some of them are made of sand and rice and beans, and they're like elaborate decorations, and some of them are like altars we would see in maybe a Christian or a Catholic church, similar, but with pictures of dead ancestors and with food or drink or whatever the things they loved in life were out so that they can enjoy them on this day. So we did a lot, and I basically, all the goals that I had wanted to meet in celebrating Day of the Dead, definitely met them. But all of this, as I said, I learned about what the holiday was about, and it really was about honoring your tradition, honoring where you came from, honoring your family. Um, and, to them, skeletons aren't a scary thing because that could be your ancestor. And that probably, on Day of the Dead, it probably is your ancestor coming to visit. That's the whole point of the day. And so your ancestors come back and they celebrate life or just celebrate family with you. That's, again, my interpretation. If I got that wrong, let me know. So doing all of these things, watching the movie, going to all these events, spending time with my friends, having them explain to me all the different foods and drink, and I had a lot of them, like sweet tamales and savory tamales and mole and this kind of like guava with cornmeal warmed up into some sort of like not hot chocolate but kind of warm drink. Delicious. Um, as I experienced all of these things, of course, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you realized, of course, one of the things that happened is I started to reflect on my own culture and my own life. And I recognized that, you know what, we don't really honor our ancestors or talk a lot about our traditions, especially in white culture, um, in the United States. Now, that said, my family, I think we have a lot of deep traditions in the sense of we spend a lot of time getting together every year. Um, we we know our family tree to a large extent. We know our family characteristics, and I know my family loves me and would do absolutely anything for me. However, what I've noticed in majority of white culture, not just my family, but just the majority of my friends and people that I've met, we don't talk about life. We don't talk about what grandma used to do or what grandpa used to do or what so and so used to say or why everybody is a farmer, or we just don't talk about life. Um, and I think one of the things I learned on Day of the Dead is that talking about and reflecting on your ancestors each year so that you almost feel like you're never alone in life. I think a huge part of the culture I grew up in, that many white people in America grew up in, again, I'm generalizing it, and it may be broader than just white folks. Again, I'm generalizing based off what I know, or in that case, I'm specifying, but um, it's you can feel very alone in this world because we are taught to be the best you can be and succeed, and that's that. Like, and that's what it is. Not bad or good, it's what it is. But when you know that you came from something and somewhere, you almost feel never alone. And I have that to a certain extent in my family, which I'm very grateful for. But I recognize, wow, if every year I was celebrating my roots, you almost, since I was from a child, you almost feel supported into life. So one of the things I worked on after learning all of that was talking and expressing myself. And expressing my thoughts, no matter how weird I thought they were, or asking questions about my friends and their culture, asking questions about how people are doing, how are you feeling, and just talking more, letting things out more, and listening more. So I guess this goes back to one of the mottos or mantras I came up with earlier in the show, which was live out loud. And I think that that's something I really took away from this weekend, as well as just reflecting on, as I said, I do have a pretty strong family culture, and just thinking about that more. So, but mostly it's been about living out loud because you know what? Life inside our heads can get pretty crazy. So that's it for this week. Next week will be my last week here in Jalapa. So hopefully I'll have even more adventures to share before I have to leave. I would like to thank Hans Adam featuring Snowflake for the music I use in the intro and outro. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please let me know in the comments. I don't hear from you guys all that much, and I hope to hear from you more because I feel lonely sometimes. No, okay. Okay, that was a bit much, but you get my point. If you want to get these videos every week, don't forget to subscribe. You can do so also near the comment box below and the like button. And all with that, thanks so much for watching.